Horegallu is taken from a set of short stories by Sudha Murthy entitled The Old Man and His God. She shares her real-life experiences in the story.
Sudha Murthy. Sudha Murthy was born on 19 August 1950 in Karnataka. She began her professional career as a computer scientist and engineer. She is the co-founder of Infosys along with her husband Narayana Murthy. She is a noted social activist and a member of public health care initiatives of the Gates Foundation. Murthy is also known for her contribution to literature in Kannada and English. Dollar Bahua, a novel authored by her in Kannada, was later translated into English. Backward, turn backward, O time, in your flight, make me a child again just for tonight. Remembering the good old childhood days often fills our mind with freshness and vigor, and revitalizes us enough to go forward with confidence.
Horegallu. Hot summer days remind me of my childhood in a little village. There was a large banyan tree right in the middle of the village, and I would spend many hours playing under it during my holidays. The tree was like a massive umbrella with its branches providing much needed shade and succor. Travelers spent some time sitting under it and catching their breath before going on their way. To make them comfortable, there was a horegallu under the tree. Horegallu literally means a stone that can bear weight. It was a large flat stone placed horizontally over two vertical ones, thus making a stone bench on which anyone could sit and rest a while, chat with a fellow traveler and exchange news of the road. Cool water would be kept in earthen pots near the bench, and people could quench their thirst before starting their journeys again. I am sure similar simple arrangements can be found in villages all over the country. The horegallu in our village holds special memories for me as it is inextricably linked with my grandfather. He was a retired schoolteacher and would spend hours every day, sitting under the banyan tree and talking to those resting there. When I would get tired of playing, I would sit next to him and observe the people he was speaking to and listen to their conversations. Most of them were villagers taking a break from their work in the fields nearby. They had to walk long distances each day, carrying heavy burdens on their heads. Tired out by the heat, they would drink the cool water, wash their faces with it and chat with grandfather. Their conversation would be about their daily lives and worries. Master Ji, this summer has been so hot. I have never seen such dry weather. Or, Master Ji, it is getting difficult for me to carry these large loads on my head. Thank God for this horegallu. I wish my son would help, but he only wants to go to the city. They spoke about the difficulties they lived with. My grandfather could only listen to them, but just talking to him seemed to refresh them for the journey. After some time, they would pick up their burdens with some ease and go on their way. The horegallu was an important feature in their lives, and as a child I would often not understand why they blessed it so often for being there. After all, it was only a stone bench. It was my grandfather who told me, "Child, a horegallu is essential in any journey. We all carry our burdens according to our situations and capacities. But every once in a while, we need to stop, put down that burden and rest. Only then can we be refreshed enough to pick up the load once more." The horegallu gives everyone that opportunity to do so. It helps people regain their strength. Later on in life, I got to see something that reminded me of that stone bench once again. I was working in Bombay, now Mumbai. One of my colleagues, Ratna, was a senior clerk, middle-aged and always smiling. She had done her graduation and been working in the company for nearly 25 years. She went about her repetitive, mundane work with an infectious cheerfulness. Every day, during the lunch hour, she would sit with some person in one of the rooms, and they would have long chats. I would often wonder what they talked about. One day, I finally asked her, "Ratna, what do you talk with each person for the whole lunch hour?" Ratna smiled and said simply, They share their troubles with me. But how can you solve the troubles of so many people? Do you always have an answer for them? No, I only listen. And that is enough. That solves the problem. I was young and incredulous at such a simplistic outlook. But Ratna answered with the same patience and affection that she must have used with all my colleagues. I am not a trained counselor or an intellectual. No one can solve your problem. You have to do it yourself. Then how do you help them? By listening to them. God has given me 2 ears to listen to others. I hear them out with sympathy and without any judgment. When a person in trouble or under a lot of strain finds an outlet for his worries, it relieves half his burden. I thought for some time and said, but don't you ever break the confidence and tell others the secrets you hear? Even by mistake? Not even in my dreams. I consider that to be the worst kind of betrayal. I don't think there is a greater sin than betraying someone's confidence. They tell me their worries because they know I will never talk about it or gossip about it to another person. Only when they know their words are secure with me, can they talk to me freely. This way I relieve their burden for a short while, till they are ready to pick themselves up and carry on with their journey. Her words uncannily echoed my grandfather's. Sitting on the stone bench under the banyan tree. Perhaps, in their own small ways. Without access to great wealth. Both these people were doing tremendous social service. No one thought of acknowledging their work, or rewarding them for it. But they continued to do so, as these acts of kindness gave them joy. If ever now I happen to pass a Horegallu in a village, I remember them and wish there were many more of them in this world.
Character sketch of Grandfather and Ratna. Grandfather was retired schoolteacher. He used to sit under the banyan tree, in the village, and talk to those resting there. They were mostly farmers working in the field nearby or long-distance travelers. He used to listen to their worries and hardships patiently. Talking to him used to refresh the travelers, and they would pick up their burden once again and continue their journey. Ratna was a colleague of the author in Mumbai. Her infectious cheerfulness would affect her colleagues positively. She too, like Grandfather, used to listen to the worries and problems of her colleagues. She was not a trained counselor, but she did a great service to those in contact with her. She never betrayed the faith and trust of her colleagues. Both Grandfather and Ratna were doing a great service without the hope of any reward and fame.